impacting so many kids within our state. And in particular, about 1 in 55 of our male boys are being impacted by autism. And what we're seeing is that early detection and early intervention can make a tremendous impact.
And Georgia Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle, obviously a strong supporter of autism awareness. So how do we get the rest of the state to follow? Well, here now is Anna Bullard with the Early Autism Project. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about the services that you provide.
I am a parent advocate and parent coordinator for families because here in Georgia we currently don't have the services that parents need, so I try to help them find access to those services.
Explain, what do you mean the services?
So in Georgia, treatment for autism isn't covered by any insurance, by Medicaid, anyone other than large employers who can add the benefit themselves, the self-funded companies. So it's a very small few that can get access to treatment.
And how long have you been at this?
We started in 2009 with Autism Speaks down at the Capitol. My daughter was diagnosed in 2006 with autism. So it's been a really long time.
And what's that like as a parent? I'm curious to know what you go through on a daily basis.
You know, I think that it's one of the most difficult things I've ever been through in my life. It is the most difficult thing, and to imagine that 1 in 68 families are going through what I go through and what I've been through. My daughter didn't speak at all until she was 4. She didn't play with toys. She didn't say mama or daddy. She couldn't feed herself. You know, so on the outside, our kids maybe don't have the physical appearance that something's wrong, but you're immobile.
Yeah, that's very difficult as a parent. Let me shift to autism insurance reform. What does that mean?
That means that what we're doing is trying to grant families access who pay insurance premiums for catastrophic events that they will no longer be denied based on the diagnosis of autism.
And obviously you have support, it appears, from the Lieutenant Governor of the state. But getting more on board is the challenge, right?
Right, so we have tremendous support. You know, there's a few that really hold, you know, the power that just we can't get a breakthrough, and that's been going on for 3 years now.
And where does Georgia rank with other states in the United States when it comes to this?
I was just in a meeting the other day with the Autism Society board that I sit on there, and we were talking about that. Georgia is really far behind. You know, 37 states have passed insurance legislation, and, you know, Georgia, it doesn't seem like we're any closer. So here in this state, we're so far behind because we don't have Medicaid coverage, we don't have insurance coverage, that families who, when their children are diagnosed, there's nothing. The treatment is available. So my daughter is just living proof that she got early intervention. She was a case that her psychological report said that she would be in special ed the rest of her life, that she may speak, and she's fully integrated, independent, and will live a productive life.
You know, when we were watching that clip, Sound the Alarm, you saw a moving truck and a family moving. Are people moving out of the state of Georgia to go to other states where they can get some coverage?
So that's the most heartbreaking thing right now that we're dealing with, is that it feels to me like Georgia is pushing our families out. You know what? Go to South Carolina. You know, let them take care of you, because we won't.
So where does this measure stand with Georgia lawmakers today?
Well, the Lieutenant Governor is such a strong supporter and just an incredible leader for us. Senator Unterman is also one of our strongest advocates, and we really have the support we need in the House. We really need a breakthrough. That's the, you know, we on that side, they have said it's unfair to impose this on small businesses. It's less than a cup of coffee to add this. It's less than 50 cents to add it. But I mean, I hate even talking about numbers, because you lose the humanity in the fact that we're talking about the quality of life of a child.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And so what can the state do in order to push Ava's Law forward, or maybe the people of the state of Georgia?
Right. So I don't think people realize that if your child is diagnosed with autism and you are paying insurance in Georgia right now, it will deny a lot of times the diagnosis and treatment. So what we're trying to get people to, just the average person, maybe not someone even affected by autism, to understand, across the state of Georgia, we need your help. We need small businesses that I know would back us, would support this because they care about the people in our state. We need leaders in our state to step up and say, enough is enough. This is not about, well, let's just look at this, my 2-year term while I'm in office, what I can do now. The lifetime cost, if you don't serve kids, is over $3 million.
Wow. And you have a website, right?
Well, I always refer people to the Autism Speaks website.
Okay.
They keep up with all the information. I have an Ava's Law Facebook page that I just post on there everything we can do. We have monthly calls to just keep people together. Because in Georgia, if you're diagnosed with autism, we want you to feel welcome here. We want you to have access to treatment that gives your child the best chance to live the best life. That's what's fair.
Can you give us any indication? I'm sure it varies family to family, but this has got to be extremely expensive without coverage.
Right. So, just imagine when you're diagnosed with cancer and you had to pay for your chemotherapy. I mean, that's the type of burden it puts on families. It's saying there's a treatment that really has the potential to completely give your child an independent life if you can pay for it. And the costs are astronomical because it's a one-on-one, very intensive treatment, but it works. When Ava said mama for the first time, you can't put a price on that. You can't say, I'm sorry, that's too expensive.
Yeah. Anna, you obviously, very touching what you said. Thank you so much for what you're doing and where you are, and keep working towards your goal.
Thank you.
And you had some great information. Obviously, she pointed out some places, too, where you can get more information as well. Now, for parents whose children have ASD, it can be a daily struggle just to find a balance. You just heard that. And just ahead, one mom has some tips for you and what you can start doing today to make it a little easier. Come back on Public Affairs on Peach right after this break.